Hi, Leo and Leo Rising. Here's your horoscope for December 2024. I'm Astrologer Joseph Anthony. All right, here we are at the last month of 2024, and we're going to go out in kind of a strange way into 2025. And the reason I say this is because we start off the month with Mercury in retrograde, which is not a big deal, but we have Mars that is slowing down to go retrograde in your sign, Leo. So this reading is for anyone who has a sun sign in Leo or has a rising sign in Leo. This is a general sun sign reading using the tropical whole house system. It's a very basic general reading because I don't have everybody's birth chart and everyone's birth chart, and birthdays are completely different. So at least this gives you a little bit of a heads up of the kind of energy that's influencing you. Okay, so Mars is going to be retrograde. But wait, there's more. Not only do we have one new moon this month, we have two new moons this month, making it a very interesting month energetically. So if you look at all of this astrology as symbolism, you know how the planets continue to move through the constellations, you begin to see these patterns evolving, these cycles, these trends. And that's what astrology is. So when you have two new moons, this is double the energy. And so I'm going to cover both of that as well. So we have this confusing, slow down, weird dynamic energy taking place this month. So I'm just showing you where the areas of your life that are going to be activated with all of this energy. Okay, so last month we had a very big election in the United States, and many things will continue to change in the U.S. If you live in the U.S., it's going to be a big year, as we go into 2025. But as we start off this month, December 2024, we have the sun, which is the ruler of Leo, in the fifth house, along with the moon, and we have Mercury there as well in retrograde. Now, with the fifth house, this is all about children. This is all about fun, excitement, playfulness, love, creativity. Now, Mercury is retrograde, so something from the past or some situation from the past is probably resurfacing in your life, and you're having to deal with it. Okay, whatever that means to you, wherever these alignments are actually going on in your own actual birth chart. But with the sun in the fifth house, it's usually more optimistic in Sagittarius. Leo energy, generally speaking, is very optimistic, and the Sagittarian energy is very optimistic. So there's a sense of optimism in the air, but there's also a sense of uncertainty in the air as well because of Mercury retrograde and because Mars is slowing down to go retrograde in Leo in your first house. And I will get to that in a minute. But we start off the month with the first new moon in Sagittarius in this fifth house. So what this is suggesting, it's going to be at 9 degrees of Sagittarius in the fifth house for the sun chart. It has a lot to do with creativity. It has a lot to do with your children. It has a lot to do with your love life. It has a lot to do with having more fun. And that's what Sagittarian energy is all about. So I absolutely suggest that you go in that direction. But Mercury is retrograde, so something from the past, may be resurfacing that you'll have to deal with, pertaining possibly to your relationship, to a creative project, maybe a child. This is all in the mix. Maybe you're trying to start a new business, or, you have something planned, but you seem to be getting obstacles in the way. So that is a possibility here as well. But, it's going to be aligned to Saturn, which is, again, restrictive. So what we're seeing here is that whatever effort you're putting into this new project, venture, or having more fun, it's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a lot of planning because Saturn is involved in there. Okay, so just keep that in mind. There's definitely a financial component to this new moon as well, and so does the other one. And I'll get to that a little later. But this new moon is inspiring you to try something new, to be a little bit more playful, to be something to do with your kids, or just trying something that's a little different that you've always wanted to try before, you see, because Mercury retrograde. Okay, so on the 6th, we have Mars going retrograde in Leo, right there. There it is in stationary position. So what we're witnessing here is a slowdown. And in the sign of Leo, it is about your creativity. It's about your motivation. Mars in the first house is very much about motivation. And when Mars slows down in the first house, we tend to go within. Our motivation seems to slow down a little bit. And we become, a little more uncertain about what we're doing and where we're going. And so that's what happens. And so there's a reflection period that takes place. Now, Mars will stay in retrograde in Leo until about January the 5th or 6th. Then it goes back into Cancer, which is not an easy position for Mars. Mars wants to be out and going about and doing. And in Cancer, it's more emotional and sensitive. So after that period of time, from January to about the end of February, Mars is going to be retrograde in the sign of Cancer. Then it will move direct in Cancer once again and then re-enter your sign. I believe it's in April of 2025. Now you're in a better situation, where the energy is much more positive. Not to say it's not going to be positive. It's just going to feel like you're pulling something. It's like, I got to work so hard at this. I got to make this happen. And so that's the kind of energy when Mars goes retrograde, and so it's just a time to reflect. It's a time to do the little things. It's a time to, instead of putting 110% in, you put 95% in, you put 98% in, and then you got to work a little harder towards it. You see, that's how it works with Mars retrograde. So we got to keep an eye on that one. It's going to affect everyone, but especially you guys that are a sun sign Leo or a rising sign in Leo will affect you the most. But there's something else going on here on the 7th, which is very tricky. Venus enters Aquarius. Now, it enters Aquarius on the early morning of December the 7th here. It'll be at 0 degrees, and it smacks right into powerful Pluto. As you can see here, Pluto's now entering your 7th house, will stay here for the next 19 years or so, and it will change all of your relationships. That's what Pluto does. And with Venus now here smacking right into it or conjuncting it, there is something happening to a very important relationship in your life that may be ending, that may be transforming. Maybe you're meeting some very powerful people. Maybe some, counseling, some people that are scientists, mystics, whatever it is, you're meeting some very interesting individuals, or the dynamics of your current relationships are going to be transformed in the course of the next couple of weeks here, because Venus will move by and go past Pluto. But Venus will also be making some rough aspects to Uranus. So we got some more surprises in the mix that are coming this way this month, and I'll cover that later. But this is a big one right here, because then it will also begin to oppose Mars right there. As you see, it's making its way through here. So over the course of a week or so, it will be opposing Mars. So watch for friction with other people rubbing you the wrong way, and you're just getting irritated with them, and, just not wanting to be around that kind of energy. Remember, your Mars is weakened in the first house, so you're not, 100%. And these other individuals or people around you may be irritating you, or you're irritating them in some way, whatever it is. And so it's a very tumultuous time, I would say, from the 6th on throughout the month until, I would say, the 14th and 15th after the full moon. And we'll get into that in a minute. But so it's a time to be careful, pay attention to the people you allow in your life. Also on the 7th, later on in the evening, not a big deal, Neptune goes direct right here. Here it is in stationary position, also in the 8th house. So this will clear up some thoughts and ideas, and your spidey senses will return to, work better because now the energy is moving forward. And so it'll keep moving forward until it's out of this house, along with Saturn, and that'll be in March. And again, I believe in May, both of these planets will be out of your 8th house. So that heavy energy should leave you by then. So, but use the creativity of Neptune going direct. Now, the full moon on the 14th into the 15th is in Gemini, the sign of communication. and it's going to be highlighting this 11th house. It's going to be at 23 degrees of Gemini, so wherever that is in your birth chart, pay attention to that. But here, generally speaking, in the sun sign chart, it's in the 11th house of friendships, organizations, hope for the future. So it's also going to be squaring Neptune right there, along with opposing the sun. So there's a very confusing time right now for many of you about a change that's occurring either in financial matters, a relationship that's going south, or important contracts or agreements, or maybe even legal issues that you may be dealing with right now. These are all on the table around the 14th. So please pay attention to what's going on. Remember the energy. When these energies come in, they shake us up a bit, and then later on we reflect on it and go, oh, that's why it had to happen that way. Okay, so this is all about communication with this full moon. Then we have Mercury going direct on the 15th, which should help to clear the air over the course of the next couple of weeks, which is very important, and we need that because during Mercury retrograde, it's all about the past. Now let's go to the 21st. Now this is where it gets a little tricky again, because not only do we have the sun entering the 6th house of health and service and daily routine and responsibility, but we've also got Venus getting, closer and closer to a square to Uranus. So again, I'm seeing some surprises here, either with the work situation, health matters, or a partner. Partnership issues, okay, that are still on the table here. Maybe you have a partner that's not doing well health-wise, or a family member or something, and then you're having to deal with that. You're going, oh man, I got to deal with this again. That kind of energy is in the tables, in the cards, in the stars, wherever you want to call it. It's on the table here, okay? But here is the second new moon this month on the 30th. This is going to be at 9 degrees of Capricorn, 6th house. So this is suggesting, again, more responsibility having to do with health, service, work-related matters, taking care of others. Maybe you're taking care of a pet that's not doing too well. Maybe you're thinking about getting a pet. New moons are opportunities. But because the energy is so wonky this month, Mars is retrograde, Venus is, going into a square or coming out of a square with Uranus, we've got a very tricky second new moon this month, and it's considered what we call a black moon, because the sun is so low on the horizon in the northern hemisphere that we can't even see this new moon. So we consider this a black moon, and so this is showing that the responsibilities are going to be strong, but you're going to find a creative way to solve them. You're going to find a new way to bring in an income. You're going to resolve some sort of issues having to do with health matters or psychological well-being in yourself or another. This is what's on the table here. Okay. So anyway, like I said, we're going into a weird dynamic at the end of December, and we'll start off that new year in that way as well. Do the best you can. We're in a major transformational period. Don't take everything personally like it's only happening to you. It's happening to everyone. And, we'll do the best we can as we go through these transformational periods, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more or hear more about this extended horoscope, here you could see here that I have Inner Circle, and I do extended horoscopes. I also do the weekly horoscope, and I'm doing now remote viewing in the Inner Circle. I'm teaching astrology there. And of course, we do our Zoom calls every Sunday, and we discuss things from your birth chart. You could ask me any questions you want about your birth chart. And, we talk about topics that are going on in the news. And, I do my best to give you as much information as possible in the Inner Circle. So if you want to learn more for the extended horoscope, check out the link down below. All right. So have a great month and do the best you can. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.